right. It's Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of the Troy Graham Experience. Daddy's Lounge, number 21. There's a 21. Y'all can't believe it. I'm 20, actually 22. 22 Friday. More Monday. Today's Wednesday. So Monday was 20. 21 and 1. How about that? I did 23 shows and I only missed one. That's big, big time, big time. I made a point to be consistent. That's funny because I've been consistent before. I did damn near 100 shows with Major. We were pretty consistent. We might have had technical difficulties, but we were very consistent. So I wanted to do this outside, but the lighting, because it's a nice day, but the lighting out there is terrible, and I didn't want to go out to the corner privately. And then if I went outside under the tree, I like my anonymity, man. I like the private. But so I just moved to a different location in my house, and I tried it there because the lighting where I sit is a little bit rough. You know, I got to work on that. I had a lighting for your podcast, but it broke. So I'm going to get one of the ones that you could adjust up and down and all that, right? That being said, what do y'all think about men crying? You know, because we think that's soft, think it's unnecessary. No man needs to cry. So, if no man needs to cry, how else is he supposed to cleanse his soul? You let me know. 'Cause I'm a man. All 50 plus years of me is man. So, if no man is supposed to cry, no woman no cry, no man no cry, how is he supposed to cleanse the pain from his soul? So that's the topic today. It is not weak, it really isn't. I mean, I've been hearing that since I was a child. Let me sit this here. I don't have to hold it. All right? Let me close this door and adjust. No, I don't want to adjust anything. So I'll just hold it or sit it here. Yeah, stop turning. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to where. Here I go. What's up, Joe? I sound low. Okay, that's good. I think I know what that is. Hold on one second. How do I sound now? I sound better, or I still sound low? Let me know. Let me know, because I can't hear me. I have to watch the replay and all that. But let me continue about this crime business. I'm hearing that from women, from men. Men shouldn't cry, and I'm like, nobody could carry all that pain all for their whole life. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody's Tony tough guy their whole life. Yeah, I have my Bluetooth on. That's why I think. So nobody's that tough where they can't show pain or they don't feel things. I mean, especially if you. I gotta hold this joint. Especially if you're a father, how you gonna express your feelings, all your feelings to your children if you keep your feelings locked up? You got to show them love. So how do you express love? Well, not that crying, but if you can't be true to yourself when you want to cleanse your soul of pain and cry, how you gonna be true to your children when you want to express how you feel about them? When they tell you I love you, you're gonna be like, yeah, all right, that's what you're gonna say. Don't say that. But yeah, I had this conversation with this guy, right? And he was like, "Yeah, I watched your show, and so was on there crying and carrying on." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you too tough to cry. Well, men don't cry." I don't know one man that don't cry. And I grew up around men. I mean, men. I don't know no man that don't cry. I know men who front like they don't cry, but overall, I've never met a man that didn't cry. So if you telling yourself that you don't cry to cleanse your soul, then you're a fool and you're gonna end up sick because you got to let it out. Just like laughter, let that joint out. Keeps you young, vibrant. Let that crying out. It heals you of yesterday's. What you're doing is cleansing yesterday's dirt and welcoming some new feelings from today that will guide you through tomorrow. That's all it is. So let go of yesterday's pain. Let go of yesterday's dirt. You'll be better off for it. Your kids will be better off for it. It'll just be a better thing all around. You know? Don't hold on to it and get all tight. You ever see them people? They walk, they all tight, and you say, "What's up? What's up?" You see, you're so filled with toxic, you're out of breath from just walking. You're all tight and stuff. You gotta relax. You gotta relax. Learn how to relax. Oh, you know, ain't no reason why you shouldn't just relax a little bit. No one could be tough 24 hours a day. What for? You make love to your woman. I'm tough. What does that have to do with what we're doing in the moment? I'm just letting you know, baby, I'm tough. Okay, good. That's just good. You're not hard, but you're tough. I got it. Yeah, dummy. I'm sorry. I love to laugh, so I'm gonna laugh. A big laugh too. I want the world to hear me. You know, I want you to remember my laugh. So when I start to laugh, you start to laugh. Joy is another thing. The fact that a lot of us like to laugh, joke, and have some fun doesn't make you weak, man. It just means that you got to a place maybe that you're finding your peace or you found your peace. And those are the type of people that you want to be around because they emit a certain energy, right? It's just like they uh, babies are drawn to them, and dogs they usually bite people once they smell them. They let them touch them and everything. That's the spirit of them coming off. Like, look, I'm not afraid, and you shouldn't be afraid. 'Cause we're not gonna harm each other when dealing with dogs or animals. I wouldn't advise you to try that with a lion because you're gonna be lunch. But dogs, cats, stuff like that, even birds, you'd be alright. Uh, don't go to the tiger cage and say, "Look, I listened to the Troy Graham Experience. Smell my hand. I'm at peace." You won't have a hand, especially if that's a hungry tiger. You won't have a hand. That's 1,000 pounds, baby. Yeah, that's 1,000 pounds. I would love Oh my gosh, I would love to see that happen. No, I wouldn't. I'm not that cruel of a person. But yeah, so this is just to me, it's just a subject I want to touch on because I remember when I was going through something, and I called my son up and I was all crying and carrying on, told him I loved him. You know what that boy was like? I love you too, Dad. I don't. You okay? Yeah, yeah. Show no emotions, but the youngest one was like, Dad, you don't sound like yourself. You gonna be okay? You gonna be okay? That's when I was under heavy sedation, a lot of too many painkillers, which I didn't ask for, and it changed me, made me someone I wasn't, just crying all the damn time. But once my head cleared, I realized I needed that cry so I can travel on, keep on keeping. So being in that hospital was hell on earth. Anyhow, I need some suggestions about men crying and everything else. Sorry about the ceiling look. And there it goes again. I guess I'll just hold it. Because to me, I raised three boys, right? They're all in their 20s now. I never told them not to cry. I just tell them the truth. If it has, it's better that it comes out than it sits in. And they would ask why. Now I say because you're building up anger at that point. Pain leads to anger, and then anger leads to rage. And rage is blind and all encompassing. It's just when you're in a rage, you split into two people. One's over there doing all the dirty work while the other person's over here watching, saying, no, brother, come back, come back, come back. But this person's too far gone, even though that person is you. It's too far gone. And that's how many of us end up behind bars, holding stuff in and not letting it out because you're too cool, you're too tough. Please don't do that. I'm really begging y'all. If y'all got to cry and let some stuff out, do it. I don't care if it's on a crowded train, while you're driving home, while you're riding a bike home, whatever you got, while you walking the trail, whatever. Let that joint out. Don't don't hold don't hold on to it. Please don't hold on to it. You're speaking from someone who knows for a fact. Do not hold on to that. Let it out. Imagine being, everybody knows what being constipated is. So imagine being constipated with your emotions that you never let out. You're crazy. You, you could, the simplest thing will set you off. Someone steps on your shoe. What the? And you let, it's World War III up in that joint for something as simple as you stepped on my shoe. Right? That's because you held in all those damn feelings. You held them in. And you didn't have, and so the only thing they could do is let them out. Somebody caught you, sorry about that. Somebody caught you on a bad day, and all of a sudden, you explode, and your world changes for the next 10, 20 years. Can you imagine that? The world changes, and it took 5 minutes to get you 20 years, all because you didn't let it out. Let it out, you know? So, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. I really want to, my hands are shaking now, so y'all gotta forgive me. This whole holding it setup is a little not for me. So I really want to start getting my sons on here and having some discussions with them. Starting in June, I'm gonna have some fathers come on here. We're gonna have discussions. I'm gonna work on having some mothers come on here as well, and we just have a whole discussion. Because I think it's necessary. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. It's gonna get heated. When I'm involved in any discussion or anything, things seem to get heated for some reason. Who knew? Provoker, provocative, instigator. Yeah, that's exactly what I am. It works though when you do it intelligently. You don't want to get people mad. You want to get them talking. Oh well, you think that I'm so and so? No, I didn't say that, did I? No, I did not say nothing like that. I'm just saying you come off a little different, and then the conversation will just go. Like my middle son got into a fight a while back, and he lost. He's not used to losing, He came in the house, grabbed my baseball bat, act like he was gonna run outside. So I stood by the door, like, where you going with that? Nah, well, he beat me. I gotta go get my lick back and all this. I said, with a bat? Did he beat you with a weapon? Nah, he used his hands. He was just better for. There you go. The only way for you to beat him is to do what? Calm down. And you didn't watch what he was doing, did you? You were just out there fighting out of anger. Well, he hit my brother, and you always told us to protect each other. Yeah, I did teach you that. So I said to him, if you fight him again, watch what he does. Calm yourself down. Take a deep breath. Watch what he does, like I showed you. He'll tell you everything you need to know, and you can beat him. So I let him go, just because I didn't want him to hold all that anger in him. So we watched. It was me and the boy's uncle, who was about my age group as well. So they just let him get a fair one, and my son dusted him up. He used what I told him. He said, "You watch what he does. He'll tell you if he don't watch his hands. People shift their weight. Watch that leg. If the leg goes one way, you know what's coming. You know." And usually on the street, they throw wide punches. So what you do, boom, straight down the line, catch him. My son beat that brakes off that boy. They had to stop the fight because he was about to hit his head on my house. Yeah, they did it in my yard. I'm one of those fathers. So that was the way of letting him get that anger out. And he came to me when everybody was asleep. He's like, I never lost a fight before. I said, well, your dad has. What you do? I said, the first time I cried. What the hell do you think I do? I don't like getting beat up. I don't like getting beat up, you know? So he said, well, why you let me back out there? I was scared. I was like, well, what would you have done if I didn't? I would have snuck out with the bat. Well, there you go. At least if I'm there, I get to control. I get to control the environment. I get to control the situation. I get to control what happens. And he wanted a rematch too, and his uncle was there, so it was all even Stevens, right? He said, yeah. So I said, how you feel? I was just doing what you told me to do. Watch him. And I realized I was faster than him. And he kept throwing wide punches, like you said. And I two pistols, I hit him to the body. And you caught him with an uppercut. Yeah, I know. I saw the whole thing. I just kept jabbing and doing stuff to him, and he couldn't catch me. His uncle was screaming instructions to him, but he was just too tired. Yeah. So, that's you gotta let them get that out of their soul. Because if you don't, whew, they're gonna do what they want anyway, and it ain't gonna be good. I guess you call me one of those new age parents, but whatever. You got to have to know your children as well. You know, you got to know them. Make sure that you make sure that everybody has an understanding, and the lines won't be crossed when things get real heated. You know. So that being said, now their sister, who's way older than them, she's in her 30s, they're in their 20s. She was a little different. Girls are different. So by the time she was 9, she was taller than all the kids in her class, boys and everything. So they used to tease her. She used to want to come home crying, oh, I hate being this tall. And I'm like, do you know why they're teasing you? And she said, no. I said, because you're prettier than them and they're all short. They're just jealous. That's why. He said, how you know? So I told her, go in the mirror and, go in the mirror and look at yourself. Do you look ugly? No, I look like my mama. No, she doesn't. But I said, okay, then you're not ugly. And trust me, when you get older, you're going to be happy with that height. She is. She's 6'1". But a couple of days after, I got a letter from school that she punched this girl in the nose and bloodied her nose. Well, that that wasn't the whole story. That was not the whole story. The whole story was that they tried to jump her. That was the whole story. So she was all scared, thinking her mother gonna give her a beating. I got home from work first, and I went to pick her up at her grandma's house, and she was like, "You gonna beat me?" I'm like, "Whenever I ever beat you, that's your mama job. That ain't my job. That's your mama job." Tell me what happened. So I read the letter, and I said, "Okay, tell me what really happened." Well, they were teasing me all day in school, and I ain't saying nothing. Then I was walking home with so and so and so and so, and they just teased me and pushed me. So I did what you told me. I did what you told me. I faked like I was going to the face, and I punched the girl in her ribs, and she fell out. And I punched the other one in the nose, and her nose started bleeding. And I started crying. I just knew I was in trouble. I started crying. I said, "Baby girl, you ain't in no trouble. I'll go up to school tomorrow and take care of it." Mm-hmm. I'll go up to the school tomorrow and take care of that. No problem. So I went up there and took care of it. They said, well, she can't come back. I said, okay, well, did he suspend the other girls? No. I said, well, why not? Because they're the ones, who started the fight. She didn't provoke the fight. They did. And it was 2-on-1. So how do you suspend the victim and not the ones who started the fight? And that dude was just like, well, she made him bleed and she dropped one to the ground. It was still 2-on-1. 2-on-1. And I said, look, I'm I'm just the calm before the storm. You don't want her mother to come here or her grandmother or all whatever 100,000 people she got in her mother's side of the family come up here. And she's like, well, one of her people is a senator and all that stuff. You don't want them to come here. You ain't the alligator man. You ain't got no alligator. So he took her off of suspension and took that one day off her record. And he was like, "Yeah, I know her family very well. It's a big family. I used to go to school with a bunch of them, so you know what they like then. You want me to call them? No, 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 don't call them." But she was crying her butt off, thinking that she was gonna get a beating from her mother, not me. So finally, I let her mother came in and talked to me and talked to her, and she's like, "You ain't getting no beating. You didn't do nothing wrong. For real? Would you like a beat? No. Okay, well come eat and then go lay down." And that was the whole conversation pretty much. She all scared telling the story and crying and carrying on. But she got to let out that anger. Because if she didn't, she would have held it and probably took it out on one of her aunties or uncle who's not that far apart in age from her. So yeah, I encourage people to let certain emotions out. Don't take it like somebody tell me, "I'm gonna go kill someone." So okay, we'll go kill him and come back. You'll feel better. That's not what I'm saying, Bama. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is for stuff like laughter, crying, let it out. Let it out, right? Let it just come out. Let it come out organically. You find something funny, laugh. Something hurt you, cry. Fall down to your knees if you have to. Lay in your bed. Sit up in a chair. Hold your woman or man, whatever you prefer, and cry. Cry. Now, with anger, you have to be careful how you direct that. A lot of times we want them to let it out one way or the other. but you don't want it to be misdirected. So you just give them a point and you say, okay, go do this to let your anger out. And it's always controlled. Make sure it's in a controlled environment. You can set, if you have a punching bag, you can let them punch on that for 10, 15 minutes or longer than that until they get it out. Something, just, but don't let them hold that in and then, wow, they're just bam. You don't want that. You definitely don't want that, you know? So, yeah, but man, I, I'm going to repeat what I said. I do not believe that crying makes you weak. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. I've seen some of the strongest men I know, like my granduncle. He could knock out a horse. He did knock out a horse. He cried. He cried. And he was the strongest man I know. He left footprints in concrete. Not an exaggeration. It's the truth, baby. He left footprints in concrete. Can you believe that? He broke. This is what happened. It was my graduation day from high school. Sorry. Graduation from high school, right? So, what was I saying? Oh, my father turned on the sprinkler and was soaking the grass since early in the morning. And so, as we were leaving out, my father went to turn off the sprinkler and turn off the water from the sprinkler. And my granduncle noticed a black snake coming across the yard. He picked up one of those bricks my father had. He was building a deck. And he tossed that brick with all his strength at the snake. It missed the snake. It missed it. But it hit the wet grass and shattered. I have never seen after him a man who can shatter a brick on wet grass. And no, he didn't hit anything. He just, wow. He hit the wet grass with the brick and the brick shattered. And we have yet to see that snake ever again. I've never seen that snake again. I find that to be incredible. Incredible. You know? That's incredible. I seen granduncle knock out men by smacking them, not punching them, smacking them. You know? I was like, whoa, just whoa, just whoa, just whoa. I wonder if I never got a chance to be old enough to really have a conversation with him. But if he was here now, I would ask him about crying and showing your emotions. I can hear him now. Well, try, said that man come up and teach us not to cry, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, but you, if you all cry, because you're another generation, well, laugh for me, right? But if you all cry, cry. Don't let no man tell you no different. Okay? If you all cry, cry. You'll cleanse your soul. Now you know where I got that from. Now you know. When you know, you know. I like to get some of my nieces and nephews on here too, just to see how they coming from the child's perspective on fatherhood. Shoot, my son's a father. He's definitely coming on here. Maybe he'll have my grandbaby with him. I should say coming out here again because I had them on before. But back to the section. Okay. I'm learning lessons as I go through this podcasting thing, right? Because I don't really watch anybody else. I really don't. Whoa. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't really watch anybody else because nobody else is in my lane. So, and if they are, I don't know about them. I don't want to know about them. This thing is that by yourself up here, as time goes on, you're gonna get better with it, you know. And then you'll have somebody next to you as time goes. You'll build a team as time goes on, right? And then things will flow a little better because they can give you feedback about your sound, lighting, and all that before the show and during the show. Because I always check myself before the show. I make sure that when I come on, my face looks good, beard. I brush it, I comb it, got it looking pretty, just like me. So I do that, and that's that. But and staying focused because today was one of them rough days for me. I've been up since 3:30 again, and I slept for an hour and a half late on this morning. So I need to get some sleep. But you know what? I told myself I will not show up anymore and be consistent because I could rattle off some names who are consistent every day. And I'm like, okay, well, if they can do it, then I can do it, you know? So I'm going to keep doing it. And like I said, come June, you're going to see me up here with people on the panel, guests that I know. Uh, and I'm just going to chop it up about fatherhood, you know? I'm going to do some other things too, probably do some remotes and do those. I love doing remotes. So we'll see. We'll see. But I won't be just talking to myself. I'll be talking to others too, especially men. Hmm. So yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself about 3 more minutes, and I'm gonna jump off here and go get that nap. You saying, "Wow, another short show." Well, I'll make them longer when when I have people coming on here, which will be soon enough. I'm putting it together. I just don't want to rush. I respect people's time. I'm not gonna pick up the phone the night of the show and say, "Hey, can you jump on?" I'm not gonna pick it up a day before the show and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing now. Would you like to come on?" Right? Nah, I want to do it like a professional. We get a date set. You come through on that date, and there it is. Right? We get it done, son. No need to hurry up and rush, none. You know? Yeah, I bet you didn't know your boy was a lyricist, huh? But that's actually what I want to do. That's actually what I want to do. It'll flow a whole lot better. But for right now, I'm going through the growing pains, and I appreciate it. And when I look back on it, I'll be like, okay, I see what happened. I see what I was doing there compared to me talking with somebody else. Because I got 1,000 interviews on this damn thing, so you can see most of them on Major Key and on right here on the Troy Graham Experience. You know, there's a different flow, different vibe, and so forth when you with other people, or even if you have feedback from the chat, different flow, different vibe. But I tell you what, it's been fun. At least in 26 seconds is gonna be fun. Yeah, the only reason I cut shows late or short is because it's just me up here and being up for over 12 hours my body's gonna shut down anyway. I tried to get some sleep earlier, but the phone kept ringing. So, not like I came out here not trying to sleep. I tried to get some sleep. But anyway, everyone, thank you. Joe Chapo and all the people that were watching from afar. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I will see you Friday. A little bit more energetic. But I'll be here Friday. And I'll be here every time I'm supposed to be here. You have my word on that. Same experience channel. Same experience time. Same experience days, baby. Bless up.